Make sure to subscribe to beefuniverse.
This Poppy Playtime ass shit.
Creepy accounts pretending to be kids. I came across a reel randomly, and it's led me down this weird rabbit hole of people using AI or dressing up pretending to go to school. They all seem to have high heels, check images in them. Is this an age play thing or something more sinister? Literally anything helps.
I don't like videos like this. Videos like this low-key scare me.
This post was made to the subreddit r/Instagram by the user numerouscut792 on April 15th, 2024. It featured screenshots of 3 bizarre-looking Instagram pages they had encountered earlier that day, with OP expressing concern that something truly disturbing was happening with these users. And those in the thread agreed. What the actual fuck? Found all of them and blocked them all. Truthsticks11 is seriously creepy to me. I've been trying to find more about them, but can hardly find anything.
What is it?
A very weird account, to say the least. The 3 accounts apparently belong to 3 different children. However, when combing through their posts, the content seems to imply something much more bizarre was afoot. Something truly disturbing.
Nigga, your video is disturbing. I'm
That would
disturbed.
eventually be picked up and shared all across the online world, becoming one of the more notorious internet mysteries in recent memory, as these accounts revealed an unending rabbit hole that is still being traversed to this very day, in an ongoing investigation into one of the most depraved oddities ever found on Instagram. This is the emerging story of smartschoolboy9.
I'm not gonna lie, this video is disturbing, bro. Like, what the fuck am I looking at?
So, I hope you like these photos. Scott is fun. Really fun.
We'll return after these messages.
Before we get too far down this rabbit hole, I want to first thank today's sponsor, AG1. AG1
Shout out AG1. Got nothing to do with me though, buddy. Do people really think
Beautiful
niggas
boy
gonna sit
and
there and
account
watch that
looked
goddamn
after by
sponsor?
me, a degree-educated mother choosing to stay anonymous. This was the bio of the first account pictured in the Reddit post, an account named Truthsticks11, which was said to be operated by a 12-year-old boy and his mother. Back in October of 2021, the duo would make their very first post, kicking things off on a somewhat concerning note, though not for their own page, but instead another account on the platform.
So, that's the account run by a man pretending to be a boy.
The video was created and posted by the mother for the sole purpose of warning others of a specific user who had been posing as a child online when in actuality he was a grown man who did this in order to get close to and exploit other children across the platform.
What?
It's the grim reality of this online world, as predators will do just about anything to get closer to children, and it's a reality
Nah, that's
often
fucked up.
unrealized or even ignored by
Nah,
parents,
that's messed
which
up.
makes it almost
Because
refreshing.
I really was wondering. I low-key was wondering that the other day. I'm thinking, like, how do people get in contact with fucking kids, bro? Like, in my current life, I don't even know where I would even be able to talk to someone who's underage. Like, how do I even get in contact with somebody like that? Like, just randomly start. So I'm wondering where these fucking 50-year-old fat niggas be doing that. But this makes sense. Niggas probably do this shit. Wow. That's crazy. How you doing, Sano? What? That's fucking crazy.
That this mother was out here trying to raise awareness. These posts would become the crux of the account early on. They would call out this user and their many accounts again and again, eventually going more in depth about what this person would actually do, claiming that they had a strange perversion to dressing up as a young schoolboy. Does he wish he were a young boy in a school classroom, looking nice and being successful at school? Yes. This theme of calling out online predators would remain consistent throughout the years on Truthsticks11. However, after some time, the mother behind the account began to use the page for its initially intended purpose, to share photos of her son. The photos began reasonably normal, and would show this young boy studying at school, accepting awards from their principal, and even school presentations in which their son had attended, with the captions often boasting about how intelligent the young boy was. Though over time, the photos began to grow stranger.
What? I ain't gonna lie, that shit creepy, bro. I'm about to
They
click
looked
off this shit. This shit creepy to me, bro.
almost as if they were AI generated. And on top
Oh,
of
no,
this,
I'm about
it
to click
began
off this
appear
shit. This shit
heavily
creep-
edited
like,
in
this
an
shit
almost
creeped me out, bro.
inexplicable manner, with deep red lipstick often being added, which was enunciated by his face being turned pure white.
What the fuck?
This unsettling trend would continue from here, as with each passing post, the photos grew less authentic and more surreal.
They turn him into a toy.
Until they became straight up disturbed, even sickening. These bizarre edits spilled over past
I have
just the
goosebumps.
images
This is
too,
fucking
as the posts
disgusting,
began
bro.
to appear as disjointed collages, often showcasing multiple grotesque images and paragraphs about how much this user loved school. And this wasn't the only shift either. At some point, the son behind the account began posting content that allegedly came directly from him, saying things like, "My really cool mom asked me if I'd like to post, and I said, yes please." He even shared supposed videos
Videos
that
like
he
this
filmed of
disturb me
himself,
badly.
which were equally as unconvincing as his photos, and somehow even more chilling. Convincing as his photos.
That's a man with a beard. That's a man with a beard right there.
And somehow even more chilling.
Is this real?
The boy even shows off his singing in one of the clips.
No, bro, I'm actually disturbed right now. I got goosebumps. Like, I do not like this.
Though their voice sounds off. The account was overall anomalous and extremely off-putting. And though this content was visually alarming, another aspect made it even
Talk
more
about
so
that boy
concerning,
singing.
as over time, many of the images began to resemble CP, showcasing these fake AI children in explicit positions, with their faces sometimes even being photoshopped onto scantily dressed adult bodies. One thing is blatantly obvious about the Truth Sticks account: the supposed child behind it is not real. Even in the more passable photos at the very beginning, there's evidence to suggest that these were likely AI as well. And based on the disturbed, borderline illegal content that this page featured, it seemed more than likely that whoever was behind this page was not an innocent mother concerned for the welfare of other children, but instead, a predatory individual
creepy, for real.
themselves. And this wasn't their only account.
What?
The second page featured on the Reddit post belonged to a user named GirlChloe12 and bore striking similarities to Truth Sticks. The page was also supposedly run by a child and monitored by their parent. Bizarrely, they also posted frequently about the dangers of online predators, with the wording of these posts and the editing being essentially
They're
the
one of them,
exact
though.
same as Truth Sticks, just
Not
not
scary,
as
it's
over the top.
disturbing.
These two accounts even frequently interacted with each other, thus providing a substantial link on its own. But by far the most compelling link between these pages is one that is easy to miss at a glance, with that being a blatant obsession with high-heeled mini boots. These shoes were mentioned or shown in virtually every single post made by these two users. At playtime, I'm sometimes running around with my really
Oh, that's
cool heeled
disturbing.
footwear I wear with my uniform. After coming home from school, education isn't over for the day once the blue blazer, gray jersey, neat tie, white shirt, tailored close-fit gray trousers, and black heeled mini boots are in the wardrobe. No matter what they discussed,
What? So what does this
school
mean?
uniforms and mini boots were always a talking point, which adds confirmation to something that is already becoming apparent. This is fetish content, not too unlike the bizarre accounts in the Pipergate rabbit hole. Fetish content centered around children. And what makes the Chloe account so disturbing is that AI was seemingly not used, and rather the images seem to be of actual children.
No.
Despite this disturbing distinction, these two accounts are cut from the same cloth, and all signs point to them being created by the same
I don't
person.
really know
A
either,
person
Rhea.
who,
I'm not
despite
gonna
their
lie.
constant warnings of the dangers of adults pretending to be children online, seems to be
Niggas
doing
being
the
kids?
exact same thing, as part of some sort of fetish, the extent of which we'll discuss later. But for now, one thing was for certain. These pages were not run by children or their parents. So, who created them? Well, that brings us to our third and final account shown in that
Can I
initial
send the link?
post. smartschoolboy9 was much the same as the other two accounts. They warned of online
know what you're doing with the
predators,
link, but-
obsessed over high-heeled mini boots and school uniforms, and posed as a child despite clearly not being one. But Smart Schoolboy was different in one key aspect. The person behind the account was pretending to be a child, but they were doing so in a much more apparent manner, as they didn't use AI.
Can we stop
or
showing this
stolen
fucking
images of
picture?
other kids to form their identity, and instead, they used photos of themselves. In the images posted on the account, we see what appears to be a fully grown man, dressed in a schoolboy's uniform. His face is painted pure white and has bright red lipstick, and he's, of course, wearing high-heeled mini
What
boots.
the fuck?
Characteristics that were all utilized across the other accounts, only this time it was
nigga
done
special
on
ed?
himself, as he poses as a child, pretending to go to school, as well as pretending to go through other life events common for preteens. And the photos aren't even the most disturbing part, as the account consists primarily of videos.
What the fuck is wrong with you? This is a mental issue.
School. Hey, let me know if you like school as well.
The videos are all incredibly off-putting. Some show him arriving home from school.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This is a mental issue.
Others show him claiming to be on the bus heading towards school.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I'm on the school bus.
And other videos showing him doing whatever this is.
What the fuck is wrong with this nigga?
With these strange sounds and the process of sticking his tongue out appearing to be part of his fetish.
There's real people like this?
As much like the other accounts, his content is overtly sexual, in its own bizarre way.
1, 2.
In fact, there's a video of him with his full outfit on, where he shows himself staring into a mirror as he appears to pleasure himself, right out of view of the camera, as he stares into his own eyes.
What?
This account is by far the most sickening part of this whole rabbit hole, and also the most important. Interspersed throughout his page are a few examples of what this individual's voice sounds like.
This is quite good.
Which just so happens to be the same voice heard in the very first clip shown on the Truth Sticks account.
A man pretending to be a boy.
Meaning that this full-grown adult man is the one behind this entire rabbit hole. He's the one on these accounts pretending to be a child and their mother,
I don't
getting
feel
some
safe
sort
right
of
now.
sick satisfaction from whatever this is. And the worst part is, these activities aren't just kept behind closed doors. As we can see on numerous occasions, videos of him walking around outside in a public space, with his full outfit and face paint on.
Look at me.
Looks like a fucking rat. Bro, like this needs to be, you need to put in
It's
asylum,
truly one of
bro.
the strangest things that I've ever seen, and making
need
sense
to
of
be
what
put
this
in
all
asylum,
is
bro.
extremely difficult. But based on the information found from this first Reddit post, a few likely conclusions can be put forward. This man is clearly attracted to the idea.
I see him IR, I'm staying
And I
very
think
far
Loki
away
was
before he
correct
put me in
when
a
he
goddamn
speculated
van.
that this was some sort of age play thing, but it's also clearly much more than that too. As based on the images that he's created himself, he clearly has some sort of attraction to other children as well, as he's quite literally created faux CP, the likes of which is so disturbing that I can't even really describe it here either.
Ew.
He's creating fetish content, and he's using the likeness of children, and also some children that are clearly very real people, to do so. That much is obvious. But there was also the possibility that he was pretending to be a kid in order to exploit other children across the internet. At this point, though, this was merely speculation, with much of the Smart School
something like that happened in Life is
remaining a
Strange.
mystery, and the rabbit hole was only getting deeper from here. Months after this rabbit hole was introduced to the online world, the story began to be shared all
Y'all
across the
gonna laugh?
internet, most notably on
He
the
finna up
r/slash
that
internet
bitch on
mystery
y'all ass.
subreddit,
I'm running
where
the
the
other
case
way.
really took off. There, internet sleuths began uncovering just how vast this web of accounts actually was, as it wasn't just these 3 pages. No, there seemed to be over a dozen, and likely even more that we still haven't found, as he's created his own sort of community, his own little world, where across each page he pretends to be a child, with these accounts typically following each other and frequently interacting, seemingly to make these characters appear as though they have real friends. On one of these pages, 12 Stockwell Joanne, he poses as a 14-year-old girl, using more AI images to depict explicit positions of this manufactured child, which I obviously am not going to show here. Though much like his Chloe account, he also shows images of very real young girls. But this isn't the most concerning part of this account, as on numerous occasions, he's shown images of children at a playground, which he may have taken himself. This fantasy of being a schoolgirl and taking part in these school-centric
Nah,
activities
I just got to
is
shit me
something
timber,
carried
bro.
over
What is
throughout
wrong
multiple
with
of his
you, bro?
accounts, with his most common alias being
Oh,
Stephanie,
bro,
of
Vitaly,
which he has
go.
numerous different
Now.
accounts featuring that same name.
You gotta be a very bad person, Rhea. This is terrible, bro.
This Stephanie character claims to be a 12-year-old aspiring poet, with accounts all across the internet, many of which showcasing examples of her poetry, which carries on those same distinct sexual undertones. I race to complete my poems when I've got an early start. Heart racing, mixed rhythms, maximizing miracles, rice with rap, and on the map. My Kennington, London syllables. Dancing though I know my underwear might show if I lean forward. Good. Stephanie Stansfield, 12. But digging even deeper, her poetry has even seemingly been featured in various articles and even newspapers, showcasing that this rabbit hole extends far past just the online world.
Stop!
This act is clearly their obsession, and he's been doing this for years, with the earliest examples that I could find coming from all the way back in 2018. And this Stephanie character seems to be his go-to alias, embodying it in even the literal sense.
What the fuck? On me, put your tongue away, dude.
As in one of his many pages dedicated to this Stephanie character, he dresses as her, wearing a wig and a dress, as he pretends to be a 12-year-old girl. Almost immediately after this case began gaining traction, the true magnitude of this rabbit hole was revealed. Across every single account are countless depraved posts and
looks
oddities
like Pennywise.
that all could warrant discussion. But by far the most important discoveries were those that didn't actually occur.
That's what I'm
on
saying.
his
This
own
can't be
page,
real, right?
and rather the pages of other actual children. Do you like school? I do. It is good. You have some cool shirts, but I have to wear school uniforms to school. It is nice, but casual isn't allowed, and it's quite hot here in the UK, as the month of June suddenly got warmer. These are two examples out of many that show smartschoolboy9 reaching out and attempting to befriend young children online. In one comment, he even warns a child
Dude,
about
look at
other
this nigga, bro.
comments from bad people,
Look,
stating
like,
that
look at this
it
shit.
happens
How am
to
I gonna
most
sleep
boys
at
of
night,
our
bro?
age group, but stay safe, stay cool, don't be dismayed by creeps. This is our best evidence that these accounts weren't just made for age play. No, he's actually posing as a child in order to make friends with other
Pennywise.
children. And given his overtly sexual interests and aversion to CP, it's not hard to gather why he was doing this. And these examples are only what we found so far. It's possible that there are dozens, or who knows, maybe even hundreds of other comments out there, hidden on unknown children's accounts. This is predatory behavior. The man behind Schoolboy9 is a predator. And in case there was still any doubt,
Oh God, I want to stop looking at
was
this
a
nigga so bad,
sexual
bro.
thing,
Holy shit, how do I still have so much
here's what
time
he had to
left?
say about being a 13-year-old girl.
Pennywise look better than this nigga.
But have his tactics actually worked?
This
Well, the
is
frightening
so
thing is,
disturbing.
no one knows if he's actually been successful or not, or even what
Successful
specifically
with
he's
what?
looking for. We just know that he's trying to reach kids, as evidenced not only by his comments, but by the fact that he's solely following children on all of these pages. And though it's easy to look at these accounts and know that something is off, for children, it's not that simple, especially when there's pages showcasing photos of actual kids. Which brings up another frightening detail. Many of the images he's used of children have not been traced back to their original creator, and some seem to appear for the very first time online publicly on this man's pages, which might mean that he was sent them privately. There's even one image that David posted on his schoolboy.
I don't know how he got his mouth like that. Ew, look at his tongue.
He claimed to be on a play date with, though it's impossible to say if this is
got
real
back home,
or
welcome
not.
back.
For now, we just don't know for sure. Though given the fact that he's reaching out to children, posting fetish content centered around children, and has even potentially photographed kids in the wild, one thing is for certain: smartschoolboy9 needs to be stopped.
Hell yeah, he does. I will not be the one to save the day, though. I'm too scared.
Finding this man and reporting him to law enforcement quickly became the top priority for those investigating the case. And luckily, he left several glaring clues behind that made this process a whole lot easier. On numerous occasions across his many pages, he would post images and videos of specific locations, even showing streets and mentioning very particular areas in his poems, all of which centered around the London area, immediately
London,
giving
Paris,
us an idea of where he
Amsterdam,
was
yeah,
located.
love says.
And that wasn't all.
Okay.
I mentioned how the alias of Stephanie was one that he used more so than any other, but what's interesting is that there was another name used just as often across his accounts, brought up time and time again, though it's a name that he never seemed to call any of his characters. Instead, he simply referred to this person as a stepbrother or a father, or even a friend from school, despite
bro?
never actually picturing him, just mentioning his name, David. And sure enough, after connecting a few dots, it would be revealed that this person's actual name was in fact David.
What video is it?
David Alter.
Depends on what
with
video
a man
it is.
being 59 years old. At the moment, it doesn't appear that David has any past criminal convictions or documented history of this behavior, but we do know that thanks to the investigation done on Reddit and Discord, he is currently being investigated by local authorities, which will hopefully put an end to his online behavior and shine some more light on who this person actually is. As for the time being, the only other information that we really know about David is that he likes to write poetry and he makes music.
Are you in the React playlist?
I think I hear a running tram going back in time, not out of time. I think I like a little lemon and lime. Say Mary Ann.
Yeah, let's try that down tomorrow.
I like the sound of that running tram.
The hell is
And
that?
his name also appears in a random newspaper, where he's discussing the importance of kids wearing school uniforms. And that's really all we have at the moment. Though there is one very important aspect that we have yet to talk about in relation to this man. With that being David's mental
I gotta
state.
send you the link.
Some believe that David is a mentally unwell individual who potentially doesn't know the extent of what they are doing. Now, even if this is the case, his behavior still needs to be stopped, and he needs to be given proper help to assure that no one else gets hurt by his actions. But it is important to note that David is far more intelligent than he lets on, as his personal accounts show us that he is fairly well-spoken and articulate. And throughout his problematic content, most of his bad grammar and strange verbiage seems to be his attempts at more authentically trying to replicate a child. But it's impossible to know for sure.
This is not real.
But
That's
what
not
we do
real.
know is that David is extremely manipulative, with his response to the situation and other clues littered across his accounts, showing us that he seems to know what he's doing, and he knows that it's wrong. Since the exposure of David's accounts, he hasn't silently slithered away like most other predators would. Instead, he's actually responded on more than a few occasions, lashing out to those who have DM'd him, calling them the perverts and predators. He even left a comment on his Joanne account seemingly directed at himself, writing, "You are really sad. And if that's your name, David, be honest with yourself. You're 50, as you said elsewhere. You reply to me, a girl, as if I'm your buddy? No chance ever." This is something David does all the time.
What?
It's projection. And it started all the way back at the beginning of this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is definitely
So, that's the account.
like you got
run
loose screws.
By a man pretending to be a
So
boy.
you have no clue.
And he continued posting these predator exposés, along with other warnings about predators on the internet across every page he made, each of which being hyper-specific to his own predatory ways and fetishes. The things he accuses others of are blatant projections of his own dark vices. And I can think of two reasons why. Number one, that this makes his account look safer to other parents and children. It gives the appearance that he's not another internet creep.
Oh, that's not a
because
beard,
he's
that's the
actively
face.
calling them out. It's a way to build trust in order to befriend and exploit kids. And number two, he knows what he's doing is wrong. And this is his bizarre way of self-reporting, probably to make himself feel better about what he's doing. And it's obvious based on just how accurate these claims against others are to him. Does he wish he were a young boy in a school classroom, looking nice and being successful at school? Yes.
Yeah, I'm off this shit. I ain't gonna
These
lie.
claims are made over.
Let me go ahead and fire my DVD for
As
an hour
each
and I'm
time he
done.
calls someone out,
What's
he's
this, 2K?
further
Shit,
exposing himself,
nothing.
which becomes more
I don't
concerning.
even got a console,
when you
bro.
realize that these projections seemingly aren't strictly pedophilic. Within those eerily familiar expose posts he made on Truthsticks 11,
I was about to buy
he
Xbox
mentioned
just to
this
play
user
2K
not
though.
only wanted to exploit children online, but they wanted to kill them as well. As he mentions that
What?
this user has a clear interest in cannibalizing kids.
What?
And even performing ritualistic sacrifices on them.
What?
And based on how accurate all of the other exposures are to himself, I have no reason to believe that this isn't part of his MO as well, as crazy as that may sound. This also seems to coincide
Frank
with some of the
Stone?
content he's posted that I can't
Stealing
show
the
you,
infant from
as some of
yesterday?
these photos show children edited in contorted
Yeah, I was
positions,
about to buy Xbox
including
yesterday.
some where he's added what appears to be rope to give the illusion
Ate
that
'em?
they're
I don't
tied
know.
up. And what makes this even more disturbing is that on his accounts, he's posted numerous photos in the vicinity of schools, on nearby secluded trails, and even some where he discusses what time school starts and ends, saying that he likes to be awake and ready for it. There's even photos that show other children outside from a distance. almost as if David was stalking them. This is highly concerning. Even if we don't know truly how low this man's proportions get, he is still far too close to children, which is perfectly encapsulated by this photo of him on a school playground during the day. And with his disturbing desires, I don't even want to imagine what he's capable of. Which brings us to the final piece of content that I need to talk about. Chasing another boy running in heeled mini boots. This was the text shown on screen during a short video.
I'm not watching it tonight though,
Kyle. David's many accounts.
I'm not gonna be on stream for much longer.
We see the man pointing the camera
I'm gonna
at
play the game for like an hour and then I'm getting
face of white makeup and red lipstick.
Oh fuck! What?
This video is edited more egregiously than any others I've seen across his page, with multiple explicit images and huge emojis covering the majority of the screen. Though just barely enough of the footage can be seen that shows David as he turns the camera around, revealing a young boy.
What?
Who he then proceeds to chase after, giggling all the
fuck?
while. Whether this was an edited video or a real occurrence, we don't currently know. David's doings are a mystery that will take some time to unravel, and my hope is that law enforcement will be able to follow through and help shed some more light on this individual, and finally put an end to his twisted behavior. But at this point, only one thing is for sure.
You're not a real person.
The story of Smart Schoolboy 9 is far from over.
It should be. Hey, this nigga's a good. He makes good videos. I'm gonna subscribe to him. Ooh.